Hey everybody, Alex here, and welcome to an all-American pickup video. I am slowly realizing that doing these in this sort of like half-month thing tends to make them lopsided, which is fine, I guess. But so this one's huge, as opposed to the other ones. So I guess let's just get into it. So we got a lot of Switch stuff. A bunch of stuff was orders from PlayAsia and the like. Fuck it, I'll just go through it. So, from PlayAsia, If My Heart Had Wings finally came in. This is a visual novel, which I started to play on Steam a while ago, and it's a visual novel, so you can't really talk about it, but if you want to cry, play this game. With that, I also got a copy of Darius Burst, the Cosmic Collection, or Revelation rather. So this is Darius HD. I think I may have mentioned this in the last pickup video, come to think of it. Oh well. If I didn't, this has Darius HD and Darius Another Chronicle, which was on the Vita, PS4, actually everywhere, I think. And Limited Run had done that one, but then the Cosmic Collection was done by Strictly Limited as well as in Japan. So I originally had this ordered from Strictly Limited, but Japan got it, and it was less, so I just did that. There is also a Genesis re-release, which unfortunately still is Strictly Limited. I don't know what takes them so long, but I mean, they all take forever. Who the fuck am I kidding? So got a copy of Pode. This was a trade, sort of, I think, of cash with Sprites and Bites, or Gareth. This is more of like a co-op sort of platforming game. The fiance and I have been playing a lot of It Takes Two, which is the new Joseph Favre's the Fuck the Oscars guy game. It is really good. I don't have it here because it's in the other room, but it's really good. I would dare say this game is him trying to outdo Nintendo, because it is very Nintendo. It is very Super Mario 64. All the worlds are varied. Pretty much the whole premise behind Divorce, I know has gotten a lot of flack. Personally, I've never been through one. My fiance has. And, you know, I've heard reviews where reviewers who have gone through it say, you know, this kind of just cheapens it. Not even cheapens it. Just, it really gives the false impression that, you know, just because you work together, you can figure out a divorce. My fiance is a social worker, so she deals with this all the time. Good, bad, what have you. Sometimes it works out for the better for the couple. Sometimes it doesn't, but in the perspective of this game, she's like, you know, I can kind of see where these guys are coming from, but ultimately, this is what the kid is thinking. This is what the kid would see, as it were, right? Because the kid just doesn't know. So we haven't finished it yet, but that's the vibe that we've kind of agreed on that this game is going for. Because, you know, if you watch the movie Inside, is it Inside? Inside Out? Something like that. The Pixar movie. That deals with emotions and whatnot. Obviously, she, as a social worker, she said, you know, this is actually a really good way to explain the different hemispheres of emotion to a kid. Makes sense. And they consulted with psychologists on that too. From LRG, I don't know what this came with, but my Gumbolt Burst, I don't even remember when I ordered this. Let me see if there is any other LRG in here. I think that was all of it. Yeah, I think that was all. Oh no, I lied. Lord, Alex. My shantaes came in. Man, this is heavy. The original Game Boy Color one. I had originally played the Shantae Game Boy Color game through unscrupulous means, and I can imagine it being really good for the time, but by today's standards, not so good. But I enjoy the series enough where I want a physical copy of it, and honestly, between the Switch and then getting a Game Boy Repro cart, you know, didn't really appeal to me. LRG has been doing a lot of repro carts lately, which some of them do look really cool, but if it's a re-release of Pod Racer and that's like readily available, I just don't see the point. Shadow of the Empire did tickle my pickle, but I didn't move on Now from Japan, I had ordered a copy of 2064 read-only memories, and I also ordered a copy of Valhalla for the Switch from Japan, which is up there right now. 2064 did come with the soundtrack, which I gotta admit, man, like, this is how you do. This is certainly how you do. Music in the game is quite good. And then this is Muse Dash, which is a rhythm game that I've been playing on and off on the Switch like since it ever came out. It's basically a runner. It's very simple. The music is very varied. There's a lot of collaboration music on it too. It gets really hard, really, really fast. And I think when it's on sale, it's like $2. The physical version just has everything on the card, of course, and costs $38.99 or something along those lines. But I enjoyed the game enough where I wanted to own something of it. There is also a special edition, I think, that's a lot more money. It's on Steam. I would recommend checking it out. I don't think there's a demo. I think it's also on phones, but there's like dance music. There's a lot of J-pop on it, some K-pop in there too. It's really, really good, and it's very simplistic where you can just play it with one hand. But it reaches a point where you kind of sort of need to use both hands just because of the rhythm. I think everybody picked this up, Hades. Haven't opened it yet. I do have access to this on Steam. So I was thinking about playing it there first, but everybody says this port's actually super duper competent. Because lately with the Switch, you know, I kind of already ranted about that's what I worry about when it comes to Switch games. Now, speaking of Switch games and the PS4, and I will talk about this more in the month-end video, the prices of games have gone nuts, to say the least, to the point where certain things are worth money. I just don't understand why. Attack on Titan 2 Final Battle, for instance. I happen to have it. It was sealed, and now I no longer own it, and I was able to buy more shit. And it went within a day. It made no sense to me whatsoever. And the same felt true for some of the Atelier games. So, case in point, I bought myself a new copy of Lulua. This was, I think, 52, 53. And I sold my also sealed physical version on PS4 for pushing 120. So I made money by going for the Switch version. And I watched the side by side, and honestly, I see no difference. And it doesn't really benefit from a PS4 boost either. And wackily enough as it is, I got myself a copy of Atelier Ryza on the Switch. This was $75, and I sold the PS4 version for... No, I didn't sell the PS4 version yet, but it goes for like 50, 60, so it's kind of like, okay, not so bad. And then I did the same thing with Ryza 2, and I already sold the PS2 version of this, so this broke even. How does this happen? Like, what is going on? I also did the same with Azure Lane Crosswave. I played this on the PS4. Basically, it advertises itself as kind of like a third-person arena shooter, but there's more visual novel to it than that. I thought it was literally the other way around. So the Switch makes much more sense for me, and it's readily available, and I sold the PS4 version for, I think, $29, and this was $40. So, yeah, there's a lot of... The pricing for PS4 games sometimes is just so strange, and PS3, don't even get me started. Finally got a copy of ReZero. This is kind of like a strategy visual novel alternate path game based on the show I was ranting and raving about. This takes place somewhere in between Season 1 and 2. So Season 1 is done. So from what I read, I can play this and it won't affect anything with Season 2. But I kind of want to watch Season 2. I don't know if the promotion's still going, but American Express is actually doing a thing where if you sign up for Crunchyroll, they basically cut the monthly premium in half for like 3 months. So I'm kind of just trying to stockpile a list of shows that I will be through, which isn't going to happen because I lose my attention way too quick for shows. But still, I'm looking forward to watching Season 2 finally. Pick this dumb thing up. This is Story of Seasons, Olive Town. I went with the limited because of the stuffed thing, because I figured the fiance would like it. Basically pulled him out, she said he's cute, and then he went right back in the box. Now, with the PS4, this is more so where a lot of the, I guess you could say, the orders came in. Little Nightmares 2. I really enjoyed Little Nightmares 1. This was hard to get for whatever reason for a bit at retail, and it goes for like $29. I didn't want to pay that. I eventually got this for like I think $19 through Target because they were doing a buy two get one. And to that point, I also picked up a copy of Hot Shot Racing. I played this on Game Pass, and I think it's good. I didn't think it was great, but I'm also biased because Jason Heine did the music for it, and I gotta tell you, even though YouTube ain't what it used to be back in the days of AGG, he is like I know Gamester's been around longer, and Johnny is certainly still doing stuff as well, but Jason's like the hardest working man on YouTube, and I listen to his podcast. You guys should too. It's really fun. It's basically it's music, tech, and games, and he kind of just goes through it. He has like running jokes and whatnot. I know some people, some of them, I don't want to say they're annoying, but it's like I hear them and I kind of cringe a little bit. But now one joke he hasn't made for a while, and I kind of miss it. I don't want to ruin it because it's his joke, but essentially it's just like, we're gonna go play Switch. Do you know how to play Switch? And then if you listen or watch it, you know what the rest of the joke is. And I kind of miss that joke. And the Wi-Fi joke, I miss that one too. He doesn't really make those anymore. But the soundtrack on this is really good. I know he teamed up with like Eric Ladd from Retro Game Remix and a few other folks as well. This was originally a Kickstarter, and it took like 10 years to come out. So needless to say, I know he was thrilled because I saw the whole journey through the podcast. But the game's okay. But I really just bought to support him because it's a huge achievement, truthfully. And then Little Nightmares 2, I haven't played yet, but I really enjoyed Little Nightmares 1. Now from Limited Run, here's It Takes Two. I got a copy of the Samurai Jack game, and this also showed up alongside my Space Channel 5 VR game. Now, Samurai Jack, the reviews for it were kind of, as everything almost falls, and I caught it. The reviews for Samurai Jack were middling, I'll say. Some people say it's repetitive, and I kind of just look at that and go, it's a fucking action game, what do you expect? I really enjoyed Samurai Jack the show. Gandhi Taratowski, I think, still is, but he was super visionary with that show, and you could definitely tell this was like his art project with the show, where certain episodes and seasons, like literally no dialogue happens. It's wide angle shots, set piece shots, sometimes nothing but ambience. So I haven't played the game yet, but I was a huge fan of the show, and I watched it up through and including, I think, season 3. And then, then he got onto the whole Clone Wars thing, and then it got kind of swept under the rug because, obligations. But I figured I was going to try to finish up through season 5 because I have the Blu-ray set, and then play this because I think this takes place after season 5. And another shout out to Mako, God bless him, the voice of Aku. He passed away a while ago, but Mako was awesome, and I have such nostalgia hearing Aku's voice, and I'm wondering if they're using voice samples of him in this, or the guy who had taken over for him as Iroh in Last Airbender. I'm wondering if he had taken over for him. Now here we have a PAL version of Fahrenheit, which is also known as Indigo Prophecy here. Now, this is available at Best Buy. This is also available through Limited Run, and it is available through PSN. So why would I go with the PAL version? Well, the US version is censored and edited, and I don't mean like in terms of just that's the version we got. We had stuff changed and altered, for better or for worse, right? But there's certain aspects of the game and the story that are missing from the copy that we have here on US PSN. It does exist in the remake version of Steam. So originally, figured I'll just play it on Steam. All of a sudden, LRG is doing a physical, and they confirmed it's a physical of the NTSC release. So kind of no point. But all of a sudden, there's a PAL version, and it's of whatever's on the PAL version. So Sprites and Bytes was nice enough to have this sent over. And I'm also a sap for David Cage and his games, so got that going for us. I have no idea what the hell's going on out there, but we gotta keep it pushing. a copy of Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning. So I have this like 50 different times. I have it digitally on the 360. I think I got that through Gold. I have it digitally on the PS3, which I think I bought for $3.99. I have it on Origin, for the PC, which I do not recommend. Because on newer PCs, if you're using a controller, which honestly for this game I highly recommend because it's really built with a controller in mind, your frame rate is 20. For whatever reason, new drivers just break it. The game is significantly old. I think it's like 2010, 2011. And then on Steam, Steven has it, which gave me access to Re-Reckoning for free. But then Best Buy had this up for $10. I do not know why. I do not know how. Watch reviews, see what's going on, and honestly, it's a cheap up-resing in terms of a remake. And ACG even said, arguably, if you've never played it before, this is worth it. If you've already beaten it and finished it, you're basically just paying for an FOV slider. I never beat it because every time I picked it up, something else got in the way. So, given the fact that I do work from home now and I am sitting at this desk so often, truth be told, I think I'd rather move to the other room. So this kind of just made sense. And I figure, if anything, $10, not a big deal, even though I'm supposed to be saving for a wedding. Finally, got lucky on a complete copy of Dementium. So this is a Renegade Kid game. This is a survival horror game on the Switch. It's pretty uncommon. A lot of people attribute it to saying it was like Doom 3, which I really didn't care for. But this is also a rated M first-person horror game on the DS. So if anything, historically, that's pretty cool. There is a sequel, which admittedly is a little bit better than this one. The controls in this are a little awkward, but for the time it was cutting edge. I think they also did Moon. I think Moon uses the same control scheme. But I've been looking for this since, I think maybe 2 or 3 Too Many Games ago, which if we have one this past year would have been 3 to 4 Too Many Games ago. But always out of price, and I finally found this for $35, complete. It's normally like 50 to 60, and truthfully I just wasn't gonna spend that. And now the last item, and this I've been looking forward to for a very long time, the English localization of Awada. So this, I've heard quotes from this book so many times from TV and Lust back when he did his podcast, and one of the co-hosts used to mention, when Awada asks, he says, and I've always just been intrigued to see what this book actually is. And basically it's I think it's more of a biography thing, but I think it's also just a philosophy and basically his views on things as well intermixed with that, because Awada really did a lot for Nintendo. He was a programmer to start. He made games, and then all of a sudden he climbs up the ladder and becomes a figurehead that even in his passing, people think of him. Reggie's still here. Reggie, I give Reggie a lot of credit because he allowed and he embraced himself becoming a meme, and everybody loves him. And it's I think that speaks a lot for a company. That kid-like atmosphere, and I think with Awada, at least from whatever he displayed in the Nintendo Directs, scripted or not, you could see some genuine excitement in him, like a kid, like, I can't believe we actually made this. So the fact that this finally got localized is something I definitely want to dig into, just because I think as a timepiece, and literally seeing this guy for so many years in my life, and dropping what I'm doing back when Nintendo Directs came more frequently, because Awada had to show us what was coming up. I think that's something pretty cool just to have in general, or at least to get more insight on, because all I know is what I see on the internet. So there you have it. And this is, I think this literally came out like 2 weeks ago as of recording this, which is April 22nd. So that's it. It's a lot of stuff. I'm kind of running through this again, only because I am technically at work. I'm on lunch, but I think I kind of alluded to it with the wedding part. Oh, and I also got a Terry amiibo, because apparently that's dumb, ridiculous, rare, but that shit got opened and is up there already. But You know, and just in terms of pickups itself, a lot of the stuff I have coming down the pipe in terms of new releases, like I'm not going to be getting near day one, which is strange because you would think I would. I'm gonna wait only because I know it's readily available, and even then, the new additions to Game Pass tend to make me think, you know what, and you know, new game prices with PS5 and whatnot. It really just makes me think, you know, there's really no harm in waiting a month or two just to see what happens, and just getting stuff on deals. Because you know, I am finishing less this year, primarily because I want to finish longer stuff. So I'm not really going through the backlog like I usually do. And even then, I'm starting, not that I'm burnt out, but I'm also drained a lot. You know, reading in numbers and then going and playing long ass RPGs, which is more reading in numbers, eventually takes a toll on you. So even now, as of this recording, I just finished Oddworld Abe's Odyssey. I could probably only do that 30 minutes at a time, like partially due to frustration, but at the same time, it's just like, you know, it's just my brain just ain't functioning like that this year. But anyway, I'll see you all in the next one. Take it easy.